Hey, what's up? It's Trent from Marmalade Cream Media. Got another podcast tip of the week for you. Today, I want to show you this little word replacement situation I ran into the other day. So I thought it was a nice little edit, and I wanted to show you how I like to do this. So from time to time, you're going to run across a section where, if you're editing someone else's podcast or even your own, where somebody misspoke. And they do a little like Freudian slip, or they, or whatever happens, and they say something that they didn't mean to say. And I'm not talking about like a whole section, but it's like a word that they flub, or like a phrase that they might flub. And it sometimes, if they correct themselves in line, if they're like, they say something where they stumble over the pronunciation and then fix it, you can either cut out the little stumble, or if it sounds good and it sounds like it flows well, you can just leave the stumble in and then the correction, and everybody knows what they're talking about. But sometimes people say things wrongly and they don't catch it in the moment, and it actually kind of can mess with the listener's understanding of the information. So when that happens, if possible, I really like to fix it. And let's just assume, since this is a conversational type podcast, that we can't re-record it. So let me show you what I mean. So I've got a podcast here. This is a health and fitness-based podcast. We're talking about, online coaching and clients submitting videos. And I'll see if you can catch the gaffe here.
But people usually don't. Like, they just send videos of their squat and their bench and their deadlift or whatever, but they don't send deadlift of their lat pull down. Well, it's like, well, if you're not doing the right...
Okay, there you go. Right. So he's talking about people sending videos of their squat, their bench, and their deadlift, but not sending videos of their lat pull downs. And so I think you get what he means, right? But he said, but they don't send deadlifts of their lat pull downs. All right, did you catch that?
And their bench and their deadlift or whatever, but they don't send deadlift of their lat pull down. Well, it's like...
Right. So that clearly a mistake. I think we know what he means, that he meant videos, not deadlift, but it is kind of awkward. And sometimes, if this is like a more novice person that's listening to this podcast, they might be like, wait, what? What did you just say? Does that make sense? So let's fix it, because I think we have an easy solution here. Now, let me hide some of my work, so we can redo it from scratch here. But let's see if we can replace that deadlift, that word deadlift that he said in the wrong spot, with videos, and do it cleanly as if, it never happened. So let's listen again to the gaffe.
And their bench and their deadlift or whatever, but they don't send deadlift of their lat pull down. Well, it's like...
Okay.
Deadlift of their lat pull down.
Okay, so here we go. So this is where the section is the deadlift part. Let's go ahead and just cut that, or create some splices here, so that we can isolate that piece.
And their bench and their deadlift or whatever, but they don't send deadlift of their lat pull down. Well, it's like...
Okay, so that's the offending section right here that we want to cut out. Now we need to replace it with videos. Okay, and what I normally do when I run into this, I'm going to replace it, is I go to another section where he said the word that I want him to say, videos, right? And it just so happens that he just said the word videos at the beginning of this whole sentence.
But people usually don't. Like, they just send videos of their squat and
okay. Now,
videos of their squat.
Okay, there we go. Videos. Okay, so we've got, this is the section we want. Let's make this blue just to make it clear here. So that's the videos word that we want, and we want to replace the incorrect word over here. So what you can do is you can go and find the word, and then we're going to just like replace it with this, with the wrong word. So let's cut the wrong word, just get rid of that. All right, and let's copy this blue word, videos, and we're just going to paste it in very roughly in the same spot. Okay, and I like to make these a color just so I can keep track of them. You're like, oh yeah, I did a word replacement there. So if I'm listening back through and it sounds awkward or something, then I can easily adjust that. Now I'm just going to paste it in here without trying to do any edits. I just drop it in there, and let's just see what it sounds like. It's probably going to be a little awkward. We're going to have to fine tune it a little bit. Let's just see.
And their bench and their deadlift or whatever, but they don't send videos of their lat pull down. Well, it's like, well, if you're...
Okay, excellent. So that actually sounds pretty good already, right? Without fine-tuning any of the editing, that sounds pretty dang good. So one of the keys here when you're trying to do word replacement edits like this is you're trying to match energy and tone. or you could say energy and timbre. But basically, if someone says videos, that wouldn't work in this case, right? Because this is a pretty flat, fairly fast-paced section of speech here. So we don't want something with too much enunciation, because that would not fit the tone and the energy. It would not match the tone and the energy of the place we're trying to drop in the replacement word. So that's the tricky part with this, is you've got to find an example that's clean enough that where you can match in both the pacing of it, that's what I'm calling energy, but it's like kind of the timing, the pacing of it has to match, and then the tone has to match. So the one thing that will help with that, if you're looking for a replacement word, is look in the immediate vicinity of wherever the word that you're trying to replace is. If you go 5-10 minutes back in the podcast, or 5-10 minutes forward to find a replacement, probably the energy and the pacing of the speech has changed somewhat from the area you're trying to work on. Sometimes you get lucky and you can find one, but the further away you get from it, in general, the more the tone is going to shift and the pacing is going to shift, because the energy levels of speech rise and fall throughout the duration of a podcast. So I like to start with looking in the immediate vicinity first, and then branch out past beyond that if I need to. Okay, so I think it sounded pretty good as is, but we had a little problem with the ending here. Videos, there was a little bit of a blip going into the rest of that phrase there. So let's listen again.
And their bench and their deadlift or whatever, but they don't send videos of their lat pull down.
Yeah, it's kind of like videos, it's like a little blip or something. So we need to make this more continuous. So let's do this. Let's pull this section out here on the right, and let's extend this, because essentially we have videos, plural, so that S sound is the ending sound of this word, and then it's going videos of. And the nice thing is we're matching that. So we've got videos of in the original example.
Videos of their squat.
Videos of their, and then we also have the destination of this is videos of
their lat pull down.
Okay, so so you'll notice here we have videos of their, and then on the rest of the section is
of their lat pull down.
Right? Now, the of in the word that we've moved over here is a little cleaner than the of in this section over here.
Of their lat pull down.
It's a little more kind of messy there. So what we can do is we can just simply cut off the of part of this and then pull it in. Let's just see how that sounds. So now we have videos of there, and let's just see if that kind of blends.
Lift or whatever, but they don't send videos of their lat pull down.
Much cleaner there, right? So what we just did, just to kind of rehash my steps, is we had videos of, and then we had of there. So we need to keep one of the two ofs. And I thought this one, from the original word here that we're replacing, I think this one sounded cleaner, so we just deleted the of the second one, and then we're just going to blend them in there. We always make sure we crossfade so we don't have any clicks and pops. And again, for that reason too, we also want to crossfade here. When I dropped in this clip, it's not going to crossfade by default, so we actually want to crossfade here. Whoop, crossfade, not pull over. If I can find the note. Yeah, there we go. Just make sure a little tiny crossfade right there to make sure we don't have any clicking or popping. Okay, and then let's listen to the whole thing in context again.
And their bench and their deadlift or whatever, but they don't send videos of their lat pull down. Well,
okay.
It's like, well, if you're not.
So we started with, and they don't send deadlift of their lat pull down, which was awkward and wrong. And now we have a nice clean sentence.
And so, but people usually don't. Like, they just send videos of their squat and their bench and their deadlift or whatever, but they don't send videos of their lat pull down. Well, it's like, well, if you're not.
You would never know that word was pronounced incorrectly in the second half of this sentence. So there's a little trick for you, a little editing trick. Like I said, look in the immediate vicinity of the problem area for your solutions first before you go out further, and you'll probably have a better time matching energy and tone. The only other thing I'll say to this is we got lucky here, and we didn't have to make any volume adjustments. The volume was pretty static in this sentence. But often when I'm blending in the replacement word into the phrase, I'll often have to clip gain it up or down, to make it fit. And so don't be afraid to do that. If the word that you're pulling from another area is too loud or too quiet, you might have to boost it or cut it so that it roughly, make it just roughly match the height of the rest of the sound waves on either side. If you make those waveforms all sort of match visually first, that's probably going to be a good starting point for you. So anyway, hope that helps. There's another podcast tip of the week.